Here's the top story. This is your daily action, folks. I need you to post this on all your Facebooks, your MySpace, your Twitter. We were looking at Facebook, and there's 20 or so fan sites with over 100,000 members. Just get it out to everybody. Red alert. Intelligence chiefs certain their bosses will stage terror attack. This is from prisonplanet.com. Paul Joseph Watson. Dissatisfied with their botched efforts of the underwear bombing patsy, military-industrial complex promises to try again. Using information gleaned from the blatantly set-up underwear bomber patsy, intelligence chiefs have assured us that their bosses will stage another terror attack in the U.S. I'm going to play the Fox News clip in the last 30 minutes of the show today. Within the next 3 to 6 months. And that's their timeline as they mass ships and troops for Iran. According to the nation's intelligence chiefs, a terror attack in the United States will be likely launched within the next 6 months, reports the Wall Street Journal. ABC News has learned some of the intelligence has come from accused Christmas Day bomber, states the report. Now they want to X-ray your body with chest X-rays because they may have fake breast implants with bombs. Despite the fact that the official story behind the Christmas Day bombing has been discredited beyond all recognition, the establishment is still constantly invoking. It is yet another reason for Americans to obediently line up for naked body scans in fear of whatever boogeyman is being waved in front of their faces this week. Since federal and state authorities apparently now consider libertarians, Ron Paul supporters, gun owners, and basically anyone with 2 brain cells left to rub together as potential terrorists, domestic terrorists, whatever tricks they do decide to pull over the next 6 months will undoubtedly be used to tighten the screws against the American dissidents they have consistently characterized as extremist threats. And they're saying they want to start censoring the internet in the name of countering this. I mean, they're moving, folks, because we're hurting them. Authorities, not servants, but authorities, last week quietly reversed the official story behind the Christmas Day underwear bombing attack, acknowledging that the accomplice was involved despite weeks of denial and derision of key eyewitness Kurt Haskell's description of a sharp-dressed man who helped the underwear bomber board Flight 253 in Amsterdam to Detroit. Detroit lawyer Kurt Haskell maintained from the beginning that he saw a well-dressed Indian man aid the accused bomber to board the plane despite the fact that he had no passport and was on a terror watch list. While Mutalib was poorly dressed, his friend was dressed in exquisite suit, Haskell said. He says the suited man asked ticket agents whether the underwear bomber could board without a passport. This guy, he said, is from Sudan. And we do this all the time, reported Michigan Live News website. FBI agents interviewed Haskell and told him about the sharp-dressed man, but officials refused to admit that a wider conspiracy was at hand, stoically maintaining the official story that the underwear bomber acted alone. Authorities claim that videotapes did not show a second man accompanying the underwear bomber, and yet they refused to release any footage of the alleged bomber. There seems little doubt that the underwear bomber was at least one accomplice, if not more. Authorities have remained silent about other eyewitness reports, which described a man intently filming the alleged terrorist throughout the whole flight, a connection that strongly suggests the attempted bomber was involved in some kind of drill and that his strings were being pulled by people in more senior positions. Then you have the other guy they say they found with a bomb that they jerked off the plane. It continues. Hundreds of terror suspects, patsies and mentally deficients, have been convicted in civilian federal courts, including convicted shoe bomber Richard Reed, who attended the Finsbury Park Mosque of North London. The Finsbury imam at the time has been working for British security services since '97, just like the head of the 7/7 bombings was one of their security service people. A large number of the supposed terrorists convicted in American courts were entrapped by FBI in classic COINTELPRO fashion, did not have links to CIA-created al-Qaeda. The entrapped often fuzzy on al-Qaeda or what it represents. And then they get into the key areas here where the neocons are calling for some type of staged event or new war. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The neocons in National Review and other places are calling for an attack on Iran to get Obama's approval ratings up. That's coming up in the next hour. But for the next 60 minutes, we're joined by Freeway Ricky Ross, one of the biggest cocaine dealers in U.S. history. And he was sentenced to life imprisonment after being convicted of trying to purchase more than 100 kilograms of cocaine from a federal agent. Ross is capture was facilitated by his career-long dealer, and it goes through all of that. It came out in the Dark Alliance piece done by Gary Webb that won the Pulitzer Prize, that the CIA was the main supplier of Ross. In '96, the CIA's Inspector General basically admitted all this before Congress. And we have all the cases of CIA aircraft crashing with pure cocaine on board coming from the source. That happened just a year or so ago in Mexico. This goes on and on. So I want to get somebody at the heart of the cocaine epidemic on to break down what the drug war is really all about. He finally got out of prison. There have been all these big TV shows and movies and things made about Freeway Ricky Ross. And he now joins us here today. Good to have you with us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me. You know, you tried to see me when I was in prison. I remember all the trouble that you went through trying to get in there, and then, you know, people wasn't going to have it.
But now you're out. I mean, look, your bio is so amazingly complex. Just out of the gates, describe yourself the way you would describe Ricky Ross. Man,
I'm a loving, caring person. I love to help people. I want to see people happy, free, you know what I'm saying, and just enjoying this wonderful planet that we have, man. I want to save our planet. I think that we've been running it, you know, and that's my goal right now. I've been going around speaking to kids, which is one of the other things that I think that we have to do. You know, we have to get our children where they become analogical thinkers. You know, right now we're raising a bunch of robots where they just go along with the system. You know, whatever the powers that be say, they do it and never ask any questions. And you know, you got to question what's going on here. You know, when you see these people attacking different countries over oil and you know, resources, you know, it makes you wonder, you know, what is all this about? You know, is it really about weapons of mass destruction, or really just about making somebody's pocket richer who already have so much money that they're never going to spend it?
Absolutely. Expanding on that, Ricky, expanding on it, just in a nutshell, how did you get into drug dealing? How did you get supplied by the CIA? And is it true you were making profit $4 or $5 million a day?
Yes. I got into it from a school teacher. Turned me on to the drug business. I started with absolutely nothing, $125. I was broke. I was making my heyday $1 million to $2 million every day. It wouldn't be a day. Not a day went by that I wasn't making $1 million.
Now, was that profit or just overall?
Overall, it wasn't profit. It would be off of $1 million. My profit would be about $200,000.
Now, when we come back, because we're about to break, I want to go through the history briefly for people that don't know. Most people do, but directly from the horse's mouth, as they say, not from the media spin. That you didn't even discover till later you were really being supplied by the CIA. I want to walk through that because this is a historical record. And then Gary Webb, they tried to discredit him. He had a new book coming out proving he was right. He's been since vindicated. He said people been breaking into his house. Then he got killed, shot himself twice in the head. And the police said, oh, it's normal to shoot yourself twice in the head.
With a shotgun. I don't know.
All right, Ricky Ross, stay there. The website is freewayenterprises.com, freewayenterprises.com to check out all things Freeway Ricky Ross. Ricky Ross is our guest. We got 58 minutes or 55 minutes coming up with our guest today. Very honored to have him with us and glad that he's been speaking out against the system. Stay with us.